Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Entities Campfire Dead of Winter Round 3 Losers Bracket. We have Radiant versus Mercy here today with Ultra from Radiant on the killer. As I mentioned, this is round 3 of the Losers Bracket. So with the winning of this matchup, we'll go on to face Elysium in the winners bracket for grand finals. Or, well, for semifinals. I could be wrong. Sorry. Anyway, I'm Hallie Bird, and it looks like Ultra is going to get a very fast down at the beginning of this game. Not exactly what we were wanting from Mercy, but it looks like Ultra sniffed out a very quick find as we go ahead and take this beautiful hook placement bottom map of the map, or bottom side of the map. With that, we are going to go into bat form, and since, you know, this came in so quickly, we don't really have to be too concerned about camping the hook, more so finding where everybody has rotated with that very quick unhook coming in, and we do see the FTP to try to kind of help Outer get somewhere where he can maybe last a little bit. It looks like we are going to just play this eye tile for now. As we take the chase back up to the one side of the map. Very good dodges of the pounce. But if we are not careful, we are going to get a tag here. This is a bit of a cross ping match, so we do have to play a little bit safer. Getting Shagpad out of the way pretty quick. Outer said, yeah, you know what, that first down was not my bad, on me. I'm not gonna do that again, and we do see our first generator pop as we continue to get this quick tunnel out onto Outer here. And with that, we are not gonna be able to dodge those two bounces. It looks like we got our second stage. We do have almost 2 gens done for this interaction. But on Cold Tower, I feel like this could be still a pretty scary situation. The survivors of Mercy are going to have to do their best to make sure that Outer is not taken out of the match too terribly early. And with that, we do see a little bit of a greedy gen pop. But with the way this match is going, kind of have to play a little bit more aggressive and make sure that we get this top side 3 gen cracked. And so far, we do seem to be doing a pretty good job about that. Ultra not really concerned about leaving the hook too much here. Does not want to let Outer go for free. But on a map such as Cold Tower, I feel like getting our tunnel out won't be the hardest to accomplish. I don't exactly know what the expected results on Cold Tower is, but I feel like it's probably high stages with how small the map is and how well he can traverse through bat form. We do see Kate coming in to try to get the unhook. Ultra doing a really good job of body blocking, but Kate is skinny enough to wiggle in, and we do have a second hit tank coming in, but unfortunately Claudette was not positioned correctly to take that from her, or from Merched, and Merched is going to go down. So no FTP to help Outer last a little bit longer with 2 health states. So for now, we're going to just do our best. Oh, and with cross ping, that is not going to be a successful locker juke, and this is going to be the death onto Outer. And so now we're in a pretty tough situation, as we do have 2 injuries against the Dark Lord, who can just kind of like TP onto your head. And so it looks like the survivors of Mercy are going to need to play a little bit riskier, sitting on gens a little bit, or not a little bit, but sitting on gens injured, not exactly where the place we would like to be, and hopefully Merch can take a chase long enough that Doc and Bandit could potentially double, or at least get the reset in. Kate doing a really good job of avoiding getting down by the dog, but unfortunately the Hellfire is going to be their demise. As we go ahead and take a Pena's mid-map.
Emotional display.
Pena's hitting that. Jin tells Ultra that that is all the progress that they really have. And so now Ultra needs to do his best to either sniff out where the rotation is or who might be sitting on the Jin. It looks like we did find somebody. Scratchies were left behind at this Jin. Not quite sure where they are. Since this was regressing, we do know somebody is in the area. And as I mentioned before, this is... Oh, we're just aggressively sitting the Jin. I just saw that. I mean, this is kind of the right play as you need to get the killer to come away so we can get the unhook. But it looks like we're not interested in doing... Or no, we are interested in it, but unfortunately it's not... Oh, wow. They get out of that unharmed for just a moment while Merch gets away and can get a free reset with his second wind. But this could be really bad for the survivors of Mercy as we only have Merch up on their feet without any injury. As I don't imagine that Bandit will last too terribly long against the Dark Lord, but who knows? They could juice up right here. But without this pallet here, we don't really have much for safety. And unfortunate we did not make it to the pallet of this tile. We did get Doc up off the ground and healed. So we're in a little bit of a fighting position. It's not quite over yet. Mercy says, don't count me out. The survivors are really gonna have to relieve Jins on the hearing of the lullaby of the bats to make anything happen here. Perfectly timed TP back to the hook to make sure that they didn't get away. Bandit is gonna try to take this chase over to 8 tile where unfortunately there is no pallet. Or wait, I'm so wrong on where it was on the map. I apologize. That was 11. Nice dodge by Bandit. Trying to buy their team as much time as possible. Good read on Bandit as well to go ahead and pull W away from that pallet and not take the Hellfire down. As Ultra decides we're no longer interested and we want to go check out our Jins. Which was a pretty decent... They have some decent progress over here at 5. So it's not completely like they're not getting counted out so much that I don't think that they could pop all 5 Jins as long as they play their spacing correctly. They should be able to pop another one here, which would be pretty good, I would think, against the Dark Lord on cross beam. With that unfortunate tag, we are going to try to bamboozle Ultra a little bit here. It seemed to have worked for the most part as we make it up to main where there are some resources. Unfortunately, we are stuck playing a little bit of a 50-50, and with this bounce, or with this pounce attack, we are going to get the down onto Doc, which will mean we have all 4 freshes in the bag. We do hear Bandit up here, and I don't imagine that they have balanced landing. This could be really, really bad. As we have a slug in the hook, and Merch is left as the last survivor standing. We do see him rotating through. We are able to get the unhook and nobody got hurt in the process, and that is huge for Mercy. Ultra deciding that we're just gonna go back for Doc. Actually, we're just gonna go back for Bandit and go ahead and get them hooked up. So in the mix of all this, we are doing a good job as Ultra, making sure that nobody can just sit the Jinn, that they always constantly have to be rotating for a slug or unhook. Ultra thinking that he can get this down pretty relatively quick, so not interested in running back to the hook to see what's going on. And he was correct, as we do see Murch down. And this could be the end of the match here shortly. Oh, and unfortunately was not able to make the window vault due to cross ping. I think maybe on same ping Bandit made that, potentially. I feel like I always get hit through the windows with dog pounces, so maybe not, but... With that, we found ourselves in the 2v1 situation with one generator remaining in the hope of popping another one. As I said previously, it's dwindling as time goes by, and as Ultra applies such great map presence and pressure to Mercy. This gen not with any real progress to speak of. Looks like we are opting to get the reset, which I don't hate. It's just I hope Ultra does not find this reset. No, excuse me. Sorry, my allergies are killing me. I'm sure most of you can relate with the weather being so flip-floppy lately. No pun intended on the flip-flop. Spoke before I thought. And out of desperation, I'm not sure of where to find this reset. We are going to check basement, and this is just not where they ever were. So Mercy doing a really good job of not giving up any free information. And looks like we're slowly moving out into the map. See if we can maybe... I mean, the gen pressure that we had is just kind of melted away with the time it took to reset. And with Ultra just patrolling the gens, it makes it pretty scary. Pretty scary in a 2v1 situation, because once the person is found, whoever's found first has got to go on a generational run to bring this down to a 4K0. Ultra doesn't really seem too interested of looking around too hard. He kind of knows where he can patrol, and if the survivors kind of catch on to that, they could use that to their advantage if they know like the tendencies he is having on his patrol. But it looks like we do find Doc. This is going to be an inevitable tag onto Doc. Playing a few 50s here, winning a couple of them, and able to dodge the Hellfire but unfortunately the dog form is coming out, and I'm not sure that we make it much further. Just gonna play 50s until we die, and unfortunately there goes Doc down. I'd like to poke and see what Kate's doing, but I don't want to break
Don't even try.
Oh my god. Well, Kate kind of just slipped right by. The unhook is going to happen. Doc acting as Kate's pallet, but Ultra said, you know what, I can count, so we can do this, but you're going right back on the hook. So So it looks like we are going to need to get a 4K 0 as the Survivors of Ultra to go ahead and take this, take our pick set in this matchup of Dracula. Ultra hanging around to make sure that Mersh does not get out through the hatch. That we do see the bubble. Oh my god, they have the door open all the way, and with that they get out. That's actually insane. The bubble on the oh man, they gotta get rid of that thing. That literally gave them so much free time to open the exit gate. And with that, we will be right back. See you guys shortly. Alright, folks, welcome back. We are back on Cold Tower 1 with the second side of the Dracula set. We do see merged from Mercy on the killer this time with, we got totems. We got totems this time with Thrill of the Hunt, Ruin, and Devour Hope. Painres coming in, hoping to get all 4 survivors dead before they can pop all the gens to meet the Wincon. So, with that, we do see an early chase coming in onto Juggernaut, and this might be this. Oh my gosh! I thought that was going to be a really quick down in the probably insane pace of the previous match. And with that, Juggernaut was able to make Shack Pallet and waste a little bit more time, not giving out this Hellfire for free and taking the chase over to the snake tile, which could be his demise. And we did hear them cleansing the totem at the same time as Jug trying to loop this tile. So far doing a really good job maintaining a little bit of distance, but with that we are going to see him fall. And our first hook state comes in with, we did get, it looks like Ruin potentially off of the board. Excuse me. Painres coming in to kind of nuke out Grim Reaper Frisk's progress, which they do, for as quick of a chase as that was, they're kind of in a little bit of a good spot with the gen pressure, plus we have Ruin out of the way. So that is a good thing going into this match. I lost my words. With that, we do get a Devour Hope stack, and we are going to find Frisk here. Ultimately going to be giving a tag and taking our chase over to 8 to this Pallet Gym. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that to maintain any distance we can. Unfortunately, we did not. We didn't hold the greatest check spot, but it's okay. Somehow he made it out. We do see our first generator of the match coming, or finishing. Ultra is on their way of getting... Oh wait, they FTP'd. I apologize. They FTP'd Jug, so Jug is free and healthy to do as he pleases, as we do take our second hook of the match onto Frisk here. Looking to go for Painres. So with Ultra being broken like that, yeah, he's gonna make himself a pretty quick find, but it looks like we have a little bit of insurance off of Balance landing here. But if you're Ultra, you gotta be a little paranoid about your chase, because yeah, unfortunately there's just not a lot you can do about that Hellfire in the position that we were at. So this will be our third hook, or our third fresh coming in, third Painres, nuking the pressure. But after this last Painres stack, we don't have anything in the way of regression, and so we're really hoping that that we can get something done through Devour Hope, I'm sure. With that, we do have our second stack. And you gotta wonder if the survivors of Radiant are catching on that there is Devour in play, and if they're even worried about finding the totem. I feel like they kind of have to be a little bit worried about it, as it is still 4 generators remaining, and we're going for our 4th fresh hook. Merch doesn't seem too interested in letting go of this chase, as we've depleted the resources and we just have the window gem to play. So with that, we are getting our fourth fresh hook of the match. We do see we're getting down to 2 gens. For the survivors to win this, they do need to complete all generators and get at least 1 stage out to make a 1-point difference in the sets. Wondering if Frisk saw that the totem was upstairs, and doing a really good job of not taking it down to the dashes. But unfortunately, we committed a little too far off of the check spot, and that is going to be our second hook stage coming in on Frisk. So you gotta know that Frisk saw the totem upstairs. But the question is there time to do anything about it? As we do see Devour Hope taking out Jug. And unfortunately, we are in a pretty tough spot currently, as a 4K2 might be in the works. We are on the totem up top main, so that is a good sign. As long as it's Devour. If it's Thrill, then we're kind of cooked here. I can't lie. So, with that, we do see ourselves walking or getting into the 3v1, 2 generators remaining. We did see someone running away from the hook a second ago. But we're gonna go ahead and kick main instead of chase them down due to our ability to get down the map pretty quick. I don't see this being a problem. We're in a pretty tough spot if we're talking in terms of the 3v1 being everybody injured. A good idea where just about everyone is, I would assume. There can only be so many places, right? It seems like a pretty impossible situation to be in if you are Radiant. Unfortunately, they did have a lot of good momentum at the start of the game with getting some totems cleansed and some gens done for the first couple of chases. But it seems like we've just kind of like fallen back a little bit. That Devour Hope really acting as somewhat of a regression as it came through mid-game, so the survivors have to find it at that point if they are not close to popping all. So unfortunately, because we found Thrill of the Hunt and we did not find Devour Hope, we are still actively one shot down with the M1s. Oh, and unfortunately with that, we are gonna see the down onto Ducky, and looks like Mersh is interested in making this a 2v1. Pretty tough spot to be in. We do hear Indrid Ultra up top of main. I guess Merch is more interested in, well, they do have balanced landing, so they decide to kick the Jin instead and then go chase him down or see what Jug's up to. Oh, we get a little clicky and it looks like we are just, we are accepting our fate at this point. Yeah, unfortunately, the Devour Hope came in clutch for Mercy. Unfortunately for Radiant, the Devour Hope came in clutch for Mercy, and they did not win the gamble of getting Devour versus Thrill of the Hunt. If they had gotten Devour, I do imagine that we would see a different outcome here. It did definitely do its job in slowing this game down and swaying it in the favor of Mercy. Now, where'd he go? What the heck? Oh. And we will be right back after this morning. Sorry, I forgot what the next set is. It's gonna be Doctor. Mercy's pick was Doctor. So once we get side switched out, we'll be right back. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have found ourselves on Mount Ormond Ski Resort with Mercy on the killer, as this is her pick. We do see Outer on the doctor. Against the survivors of Radiant, we have Frisk, Ultra, Wancy, and Ducky here to play against our doctor player here. Looks like we did do a little bit of a pre-drop at that at the tile, maintaining as much distance as possible in between the shocks, and looks like we're playing this pretty well, connecting the loops. Unfortunately, we did misread our check spot there and bump into the wall, so this is going to be a tag early on, and we do see Rapid Brutality coming into effect with that hit, and unfortunately this will be the down onto Frisk. Pretty early for a doctor set to be getting a down. It looks like we are opting to take them into the corner of the map where it is going to be pretty hard to get them out of here without some help. And in response, I'm wondering if the survivors of Radiant are just going to sit gens to get as much pressure as possible. We do see batteries, corrupt, and pain res, as well as Rapid Brutality. Get a big shock out there to see who might be lurking around for a quicker unhook. Looks like we did get a hit onto Ducky with that static blast. And as Ducky decides to go into the 11 corner of the map to try to make some time, make the timing perfect for the unhook to come in while Outer is over here busy. Unfortunately, looks like we are going closer to the hook to decided that is not the place that we wanted to be, so we are going to go ahead and go back down towards 9. And with the unhook coming in, Outer has no interest in continuing to chase Ducky as we go back to the hook. Frisk was able to make quite a bit of distance, trying to make it down to Shack as fast as possible before the doctor can catch up. We do hear quite a bit of progress over here by Shack, but right now the objective is to keep Frisk alive as long as possible, and with the dodge of the shock, Ultra is going to be able to drop the pallet for Frisk. Ultra is playing pretty well around needing to keep Frisk alive with that hit tank coming in. Looks like the doctor has no choice but to kick Shack pallet, and that's giving Frisk just enough time and just enough distance to get to our next pallet. Having to be very careful to not get stopped at the pallet with the shocks that I guess Outer is technically not even putting out. Frisk doing a really good job of making sure to not panic vault with that. They are going to make the next pallet, but the shock is going to prevent them from dropping it. And it looks like we are going to be going down here, but the good news is we are about to have only one generator remaining. So the team play at Shack was very well done, keeping Frisk alive as long as possible, and Ultra kind of getting out of there as soon as he took the hit tank to go get reset and to see what we can do with the next unhook, I guess, technically. So we are static blasting closer to the top side of the map, but we only catch sight of, it looks like we catch sight of Wancy. And if I am Outer at this point, knowing that there's only one generator remaining, it is probably time to do our best to get our fresh hooks on the board. We do have a little bit of a 3-gen over here, but I don't think it's quite good enough to hold. So yeah, with that, Outer is going to go ahead and commit to Ducky, not allowing them to drop this pallet for free. And that was actually a really good pallet drop, as we did see him go to the outside of the tile. But unfortunately, it is not going to last too long, as we do get the pickup. No pallet save in sight, and this is going to be another pain res and fresh hook for Outer. So far, the survivors are doing a really good job of dying where they need to, and not allowing Outer to drag them back into this somewhat of a 3-gen. I don't know that this is exactly the 3-gen that you would want as Doctor, as it is a little spaced out, so I think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Outer to hold. But it looks like we have changed our pace, changed our pace to getting our fresh hooks, which is probably for the best. I couldn't imagine that playing Doctor on this map is the easiest, or that you get the high, like, you should never really be getting 4K'd against Doctor. We all kind of know that, but I think Orban really solidifies that and really makes it so where the fresh hooks should be the priority. We do see Frisk, and looks like it might be a little bit of a bait so that Outer does commit to Frisk and they can get all gens popped and out the exit gate. Just want to repair the motors. We are going to take the injury onto Frisk and go back to check our generators. The survivors of Radiant doing a really good job of pre-leaving and not giving a chase for free. Making Outer kind of work for any... I mean, he technically has a lot of pressure just because everybody is injured. But they're doing a good job of leaving the gen that they were on to come to the side of the map to waste as much time as possible. Outer not seeming interested after not getting a quick down there. And it looks like we're going to be looking for a bit of a reset here. But unfortunately our static blast did not find them. And it seems like a tall task to get all 4 freshes whenever you're down to 1 generator remaining and you have all 4 survivors alive. So it is kind of the caveat of playing for freshes, is that it feels like sometimes it could be a gamble. If the teams are playing well enough, getting all the freshes, like I said, could be a bit of a gamble. I'm not able to get the pallet drop due to the blast. Playing it pretty well, but unfortunately we did get stuck, so this is going to be a down and another fresh hook on for Outer. So far doing a really good job of maintaining pressure and providing the best result for our survivor side of the set. So we did see a double trying to happen at the top side of the map as we do get the unhook. And we are committing Ultra for our 4th and final fresh. Frisk doing his job as the 2-hook survivor to make sure that Ultra stays alive and does not give up that fresh for free. And with that, we are going to see Frisk downed and taken out of the trial. So right now, Outer has a pretty good standpoint, as he does have all injuries on the board. All of his fresh, well, not all of his fresh. He still needs to get Ultra to confirm all of that. It seems like batteries is not getting as much value as it would on a map such as like Wretched Shop, for instance, because of the size of the map. So I wonder if batteries, as it's becoming more of a popular pick on these M1 sets, I don't know that it was the right choice for the size of this map. But with that, we are going to see a chase onto Wancy, kind of next to the gen that I assume has the most progress, but without getting the fast down, we're gonna opt to leave it and go check back on main, which with the shack tells us that there is nobody just kind of like reading it, sitting on it. You see that Ultra is now healed. So he can play a little bit more aggressive, kind of showing himself as the pressure, as a little bit of a bait, so that if Outer does take the bait, Ducky and Wancy can go ahead and progress the game further. They were able to put everybody into tier 3, so no free gen pressure coming from the chases, as they all have to snap out of it. Looks like we did see Ducky and Wancy are now snapped out, so they're free to work gens. We are going to kick the pallet and go check back on the progress instead of committing Ultra, which I don't necessarily hate. We are holding on to dear life to these two gens. Gotta imagine that they're over there resetting in the corner, or maybe just holding the distance from each other. As we do hear Wancy over here, but we're just not interested in that, knowing that the 12 gen is pretty close to popping. It is still regressing, but it does have the most progress, and the hallucination is going to go ahead and confirm that Ultra is just holding W to Shaq's side of the map. Wancy does get healed in this time. And I can imagine that Ducky is soon to be healed as well. They did hear, I don't know if they heard, but I heard Renato over by 7. So they have a good idea of where everybody is at now with that static blast. And I feel like this is just like a push and pull from the survivor side. Doing a really good job of not allowing a down to come in, but Outer is also not committing to anything. So at this point, we gotta wonder, is this the winning strategy for this set of dropping Chase? I know you gotta get a quick down to really not let go of the gens, but at some point you do kind of have to just commit something to make something happen. And with that shock, we are gonna make it over to 7, but we unfortunately are not gonna make the vault. And that is gonna be the down onto Wancy. Looks like we are going to just pick and get another hook state on the board for our survivor side. Batteries kind of coming in a little bit to help Outer get to the hook a little bit faster, but with that, we do have we have Ducky in tier 3, so we know we have a little bit of time to see what Ultra's up to and maybe prevent them from getting the unhook. Main has been regressed quite a bit. It is no longer in threat of popping at this exact moment. And now it looks like Outer is taking the more dominant position here, as he can just camp this hook and the most progressed generator. Ultra serving as bait, as he is the last fresh hook and maybe enticing enough for Outer to chase, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case, as we know what we're up to here. So at this point we can really just camp, like I said, camp the hook and the gen. That we do see. Ooh. Nice body block. I was wondering if we were gonna get it. Wancy doing their best to keep Ducky alive with their 15 seconds of BT. The pallet is not on this side, so this unfortunately is going to be the down onto Ducky if they do not make this. Oh, they didn't make the window block because they hopped the locker. This hook placement is quite interesting because, I mean, we can't really camp it too hard. I feel like, but it is quite a bit of distance for anybody to have to come up and get. So while this chase is going on, Outer knows that he's not in danger of any of his gens popping, and he can kind of commit. He can commit Ultra at this point and try to get this last pain res in. And without the pallet here, this tile becomes a little less safe for Ultra to hang out at. We do see the hallucination of the doctor, so we know that we are working this generator again, and it is so close. It's got to be like 80 to 90% at this point. And oh man. We're doing our best to play put everybody into tier 3, which we have accomplished. So now nobody can touch these gens. And it looks like the perfect time for Outer to go ahead and chase down Ultra, as this is just a window that we are playing now. But do we have time to pick them? I don't think that we do, actually. I think this is the right call. We actually didn't have time to pick them and get them on a hook before this generator pops. I think we might be out of regression, though, as we opted to not kick that gen. So the Survivor's doing a really good job in this push and pull of the 3 gen. And now it is a very dangerous place for Outer to be, as he can't continue to regress. And if we had gotten any of these survivors into tier 3 before they'd reached Ultra, they would not be able to pick Ultra up without snapping out of it. And I think that that might be the play here, is to make sure that, you know, we keep our pressure. But unfortunately, they do get the pickup. And knowing that we can no longer regress this gen, I think it's time. I would think that we would have to start main, as Outer does not seem interested in leaving this gen. But, you know, Survivor players, we're super stubborn, so that gen is the win con, in my opinion. Nothing else matters but popping that specific generator. But the name of the game is is making it appeasing for the killer to leave the area that they are protecting. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to start applying pressure elsewhere. As I say this, Outer goes ahead and drifts away from the generator, so I mean, I just can't be right, obviously. Caster curse, I guess. We find all 3 survivors resetting by Shaq, who sniffed them out. And now we just kind of scramble. Run, team, run! Ultra able to get out of there unscathed, as the survivor that is going to be taking the most attention from Outer to make that vault. But I do imagine that another tag is coming in, so all the time that we spent resetting, it did pay off, because now we do have the 5th generator popping in. Looks like we're gonna get to secure our 4th fresh hook of the game. Almost good guy doctor here, as everybody is almost 2 hooked. It looks like we are going to take Ultra down to the basement and try to confirm our final 3 stages of the match. With the doors being, I think, too far. Well, I mean, this door is pretty close to basement. I feel like maybe if they were quick enough with their resets that they could potentially play for it, but I don't know. It seems like it's pretty risky with how high of stages that this game is turned into. And we do see a reset onto Wancy, so maybe we're gonna go for it. But with our location being found, I don't know that we will have much of a choice, as a double unhook is impossible. Yeah, with that, we do see the death onto Wancy, and we have quite a high staged doctor game. So we will switch sides, and we'll be back just in a few moments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We now have Radiance Ultra on Doctor against Bandit, Merch, Doc, and Noah with a high stage Doctor set last match of 10 stages. Ultra has a pretty tall task on such a big map against the Survivors of Mercy. So with that, we are going to take our first chase onto Bandit in the 11 corner. It looks like we're giving up a free tag quite early. We're opting to chase the corrupt side of the map, which is perfectly fine. We are going to make this window vault into a much safer maze style. Gonna go ahead and stay here instead of trying to connect to the window to the pallet, and it looks like we are successful in a little bit of that. Unfortunately, with the shot coming in, we are not able to drop this pallet, so now we are forced to play a very scary 50-50. Doing a pretty good job so far, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and make it to the next pallet. A little bit of a stronger pallet, but it's still quite a long wall to be facing the Doctor. But if Ultra just keeps shocking like that, looks like we do get the down. After all, the first generator popping for this, imagine that was probably a double. No pain res in our favor, so it looks like we are just opting for hook placement instead. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I don't think we should greed for that pain res, as I don't think we will make it quite. We might have just barely made it, but I don't know if it's worth risking at that point. We do see a quick unhook as the Survivors of Mercy say, you can't really afford to keep this, so I'm gonna get them out of here. And it looks like we are going to try to get a quicker tunnel out here onto Bandit, as we do see Merch coming in to help Bandit make main, which I think they kind of made that for free. I don't know that it was 100% a necessary hit tank, but we do get the pallet drop from it up top, so we are wasting quite a bit of time. Looks like Ultra is deciding that this is no longer worth his time once they got that pallet out. Excuse me. And we are going to go ahead and commit the chase onto Noah, who has also another pretty strong tile to play. We are not going to get the pallet drop though, so that is going to be another tag. 3 injuries on the board. And it looks like everybody's over here, so I don't know. Gonna go ahead and commit Bandit into Shack. Unable to drop Shack pallet for himself and nobody around to drop it for him. And we do see a little bit of team play coming in. Good body block on Doc's behalf as we go ahead and switch the chase over to Doc. And this could be kind of scary for the Survivors of Mercy, as everybody is injured. We do have quite a bit of a snowball potential. Afraid of a pallet save, or that someone was just going to drop the, or not drop, but pop the gin in his face. He decides to chase. And I think it was Noah off of the gin and kind of keeping everybody away from what they were trying to do, which is pretty good. But we have not seen Merch in a while, which means that they are probably just sitting in a gin somewhere. And we should see one of these 4 gens on this side of the map pop relatively shortly, unless Merch is deciding to go for the pickup. So with that, we do go ahead and get our second stage onto Bandit, and looks like this one will be a pain res. So unless those Survivors were doubling the 7 gen, it looks like we are going to tank that progress, which I'm assuming we opted for at least 1 reset here. I'm lying. They didn't opt for any reset. There's a HUD, Hallie. Look at it. I'm so sorry. With that, we do sniff out our savior up top main. But yeah, the 7 gen does go ahead and pop, and we see the hallucination knowing that they are rotating from that side of the map. Not wanting to give this hook placement, or this hook up for free. As it looks like we were trying to hold the same through. relatively the same 3-gen as we did in the previous match. This one is quite a bit, I feel like this one's pretty spread out as well, as that gen in the one corner is going to take quite a bit of time for the killer player to go over and check. So I feel like that will probably be the next gen that we see pop. Attempting to get everybody into stage or tier 3 madness so that they can no longer reset or work gens. That is the one generator popping, and it looks like Bandit's gonna die here. There is no savior in sight, as everybody is injured in tier 3, so we could not get a reset in and make a trade. So with that, we are in a similar position as we were in the last match, with 1 dead at 1 generator remaining. But we do still have quite a few hook states to gather to make this a possible win for Radiant. Good shock by Ultra, not allowing the refuge of that pallet to come in, as we are opting to just slug and keep the pressure alive. Shack pallet coming out and buying Noah just a little bit more time. Unfortunately, we are pushed over to the only place we really have to go, and that's by the slug, so it makes it a little bit tougher for Merch to be able to come in and get this slug up off the ground. With that pallet break in a decent zone, we are gonna go ahead and get the slug up. No more tummy time for our... I do believe it was... Oh, I don't remember who was on the ground now. Dang it. With that, we are going to take this chase. And unfortunately, there is not enough distance in the world to keep Merch safe from that down. As we do see Doc still kind of lingering around, knowing, kind of reading as the way Ultra is playing, and knowing that they were going to need to be around to get the pickup. With that, unfortunately, we have a down, and now we are forcing a pull, meaning that we are the only one that can make something happen if we are Noah, and unfortunately, we see Noah here to get the pickup. What seemed to be a really tall task for Ultra is starting to seem like it's just nothing, like it's no problem. As with Ultra being able to keep all the survivors on this side of the map where there are no generators to be progressed, it looks like we are in a little bit of a better position than I thought we might be going into this Doctor set. Because they're just kind of pinned down over in this corner. No one can really work a generator, and unfortunately, I would like to say that this is pretty well played, where they did have to force the Doctor to pick between going and chasing or giving this unhook up. So we do still have some options. With our 15 seconds of BT, we are able to do a little bit of a pallet standoff, and I'm assuming that was at the tail end of the BT. So very well played on Doc to kind of use this mechanic to his full advantage, but sadly it is not going to be enough, as we do see him fall again. Merch getting picked up, so we're going to opt to pick, as we do still have 3 pain reses available. I do believe that Doc was pain res. Maybe not. I'm wrong. I'm very wrong. And if you were the Survivors of Mercy, I feel like you have to get at least 1 reset here off so that it's not an absolute trade at the hook. I mean, it probably will still be, but gives them a little bit more options. But it looks like that is not the case. We did not opt for that, as we split up and one tried to tackle 11 as the other gets the unhook. Knowing that Noah is still over in this corner, we are going to go ahead and commit to them, since there are no immediate threats of any generators popping for this chase. And it does look like this will be the down onto Noah. And since we are on the side of the map that we would rather be on, we are going to go ahead and pick him and hook him up. Opting for another pain rest here, even though there's not quite enough pressure to justify it, but we are just going to melt away anything we could have possibly had. And I do believe that that was the highest progression, so we are in a little bit of trouble as Team Mercy. We did get Doc healed up, so that is a plus side. They can kind of play a little bit more risky as they do have 2 health states to give up, and it looks like we did locate both generators, both survivors. And it looks like we are going to try to get rid of this health state that we gave back to Doc. If we played just a little bit more patient, we could have wasted enough time for maybe that unhook to come through, but it looks like Ultra's only interest is getting this down to a 2v1. And just swing through the pallet there, we are going to achieve such a task, I guess is the words I'm looking for. Now, if Ultra somehow manages to 4K here, or get 11 stages, this win will go to Radiant, which means we'll be all tied up 1-1 as Mercy took the Dracula set, and we will be going into Artist, which personally I'm excited to see because I'm a big Artist fan. So I'm kind of hoping here. I'm not being as unbiased as possible, but I just want to see Artist, so there is that. So since we're in the 2v1, we feel a little bit more confident into taking any chase and every chase that we find. Doing a good job of getting that down relatively quickly, using our shocks perfectly so that the survivor can never drop the pallet. And with that, we do see our final, what could be our final chase of this match. Coming on to Merched. Kind of crazy. I just didn't expect either Doctor set to go this way. I didn't expect to see high stages on the first one, nor the Ultra was able to potentially pull out this 4K1. So that, with that, the win for Doctor is gonna go to Radiant. So both teams kind of winning each other's sets because Radiant picked Dark Lord and Mercy picked Doctor. So kind of interesting to see whenever that happens. I enjoy seeing the upset on those kind of situations. And with this hook, we, like I said, the win for Doctor is going to go to Radiant, and we will be back shortly with Artist. So don't go too far. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what should be the final matchup of the night as we have reached tiebreaker artist on Dead Sands. And we do have Radiance Killer Ultra on the artist versus Merched Doctor, or Doc, Outer, and Bandit. And let's see what the survivors can do to make sure that they win this set. And go the winner of this. So what I would like to mention again is the winner of this is going to go on to face Elysium in our semifinals for this tournament. And so everybody has something to play for, and they are showing that they want this. Both sides are, as we are, like I said, coming into our tiebreaker set. Looks like we're doing a pretty good job of maintaining our distance from the artist around Shack. We did hear someone trying to cleanse Ruin as we started this first chase. Doing a really good job of getting to the side of the map where the Corrupt is at, but as we know, this map can produce some pretty nasty 3-gens, and it looks like we do have the bottom, or like the 3 to 5 3-gen that we, 3 or 4-gen really, that we can pretty decently hold. I guess it's a little bit of a stretch to call it a 4-gen with how spaced out it is, but as artists we are able to kind of have some map presence without even being over there. So with Ruin in play, we are doing our best to hit these birds while protecting the hook so that we can keep the progress down to a minimum. It looks like we've done a pretty good job so far of harassing these gens, and I'm afraid though if we look too far away that we are going to let this unhook come in relatively free. I'm getting a little bit of killer instinct knowing that all 3 survivors, I think we know that all 3 survivors are playing for gens at this point, but regardless, we are going to do our best to camp Merch to second stage, and it looks like that is going to be what happens here. And as soon as that happens, we are free to go out and see what else we can get, unless Ultra is just concerned with making sure that Merch dies on hook. With that, we do get the double hit on birds. Lockers close by, making sure that we get those off quickly without any damage being taken from them, as we do our best to get this first gen of the match popped. And since we sent all 3 of our birds, there's going to be a little bit of a longer cooldown. It looks like we do have Severed Hand and A, so we are working with 4 birds here. Opting to not place that at the window as a zoning tool for this chase to continue onto Shack. Merch really has to do everything in their power to not die. But unfortunately, with the placement of birds, I don't know that that's going to be a possibility. We do miss the injury bird there. With that, we are going to see probably 2 gens pop before. Yeah, we do see the 2. We're down to 2 gens here. I missed one of the pops, my bad. But that is going to be the death of Merch. Kind of in a tough spot, because with Ruin active still in the 3v1, an artist able to harass you on the gens, it kind of feels a little bad to know that we already have a survivor out of the match. I will say that Mercy did a really good job of breaking up this this more detrimental 3-gen between 3 and 5. We do find another chase, and with that, we do hear Ruin come down, and we get the injury with the birds at a pretty tough spot of the map, because this is really all you have to play over here is this one tile, and it being Ormond against Artist, it could be the down, and we're just gonna hold W away and try to make it back to Shack, which has no Shack palette, but we do still have the window to work with. We are gonna get the birds applied as Outer does everything it can to not go down, but unfortunately Ultra placing those birds correctly means that this is going to be the down onto Outer. I imagine we are going for that pain res hook. And so if you are the survivors of Radiant, with the down coming in like that, you kind of have to be somewhere around the hook to go for a faster unhook than you would like. Oh my, that was a dirty bird. Can't lie. Can't lie. So with that, we do have an extra injury, and this unfortunately will probably be the redown onto Outer. Doing their best to not take the down to the bird, but unfortunately with 4 of them in play, it makes it a lot harder to dodge. In a little bit of a tough spot if we are the survivors of Mercy. It looks like we're doing a pretty decent job, though. We're going to get it down to a 4K1 in just a couple seconds. And even with the bird tag coming in, we are going to greed for the Jhin, which I don't 100% hate, especially because we did a nice dodge and we will not be taking the injury from those birds. The Outer's going to get unhooked. We're going to leave Doc to repel and go ahead and try to make this into a 2v1 as fast as possible. If Doc does not do everything they can to keep Outer alive, and unfortunately it looks like that's going to be the case, and Outer in a really bad spot right now. Swing through the pallet, and with cross ping, that is going to be the down onto Outer as Bandit is trying to get this last Jhin done, but unfortunately we got hit with the birds, so we cannot sit. It was not at a 99 position like the last one that we could kind of just greet it and be safe. And it looks like we do know that both survivors are trying to double out this last generator, which could smell trouble for us over here, as there just was not enough pressure on that Jhin to kind of like greed for it. And yeah, don't do it, Ultra. Ultra almost deciding to pick it up, but realized that we are still here at the Jhin, desperately trying to get it popped. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the damage onto that crow, but we are in a bad spot here as we have to hold W to where there is not a whole lot but fillers. And as the last person standing, I just think that we're pretty much solidifying the... I don't want to say too much because every other time I've said something, you know, you get cast or cursed it too much, but yeah, I don't see a world where they can get this pickup and get that last Jhin done, so. Doing a really good job of not taking the down to the birds, but unfortunately that will be our final chase of the match. Now, if Bandit can somehow slither away before they're found and bleed out, that would be good for Mercy. Making a tie impossible. Wait, I think making a tie impossible, but yeah. And with that, we are just gonna kind of search around the map and see if we can find Bandit. As I said before, these teams are playing for all or nothing here. The winner of this goes on to face Elysium in our semifinals, and the loser is going to be out. No more for the... Oh, he's just right there. Okay, I didn't even see him. I was too busy yapping. So, with that, we do see a 4K1 coming through for Ultra. And whenever we come back, we are going to see what Radiant can do to sway, or to turn this matchup into their favor and take the W. We will be back shortly, folks. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what should be our final match, or what? Final side of this set, as we are in the tiebreaker. For those of you just tuning in, this is Mercy versus Radiant. We do see Merged from Mercy on the killer. This set is for all or nothing. The winner of this is gonna go on to face Elysium in our winners bracket, and we have the task of a 4K2 to win this. And if we were on a traditional map such as like ARP, this might be an impossible task, but since we are on Dead Sands, I have seen crazier things happen, to be fair. So with our first down coming in relatively quick, we are going to hook them up and see what side of the map the killer, I mean, obviously the killer is playing for this bottom side, or that is a really pretty tight 3-gen over on the top side of the map, actually. As I rewind what I was saying, kind of get it to in line with the actual match. With this hill hook being just as good as like a potential basement hook, we do see a forced hezi in the mix versus Ruin, as we saw in the last match. Ultra had Ruin. And so it looks like we are doing what we can to maybe prevent some team play or some trades at the hook. And with that, we do see our unhook coming in. FTP is going to be applied. And we will see. Looks like we are not interested in taking the easy down onto Frisk. Instead, we are going to go for our tunnel out onto Ducky. Ducky doing a really good job of knowing what side of the map they need to play, knowing that it is not the 12 side of the map, and kind of keep it down here, which is best case scenario, as we do see the first generator fall of the match. Ultra well on his way to the second gen, and the key factor here is going to be keeping our tunnel out alive as long as possible, because we saw how that, unfortunately we did just kind of send it around that side, not really keeping our eyes on the killer. So this is going to be a pretty quick down, and a pain res being applied on our second hook onto Ducky. Ultra not taking the pain res, so taking the pain res application. So maybe I must have missed that the first hook was pain res, potentially. No, it wasn't. That was the first pain res. I don't know why it didn't apply to Ultra's gen. Obviously, had to have been another gen high progress, but I was unable to find it in my searchings. I guess I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, guys. Anyway, with that, we're keeping kind of close to the hook, but a little bit of venturing out, as we do want to see what the other survivors are up to. So far, nobody giving up their location too easily, as Ultra is found on his rotate. And this is, they're about to find out that Force Hezi is in play, and it's gonna be pretty difficult for Ducky to get away from this, and unfortunately we are stuck at this pretty unsafe tile versus Artist. 15 seconds of borrow time is going to be our only saving grace, and it looks like we did see Lithe coming through, so Ducky is able to get out of the situation. But and with that, we do see that we are down to one generator remaining. It looks like 90 is doing their best to get Ultra up off the ground, and to be fair, Ducky is doing a really good job of not going down too quickly, but dodging that bird means that they got stuck a little bit, and unfortunately this is going to be the death onto Ducky. We do have 2 injuries on the board, so we're not in a terrible spot as Merged. So all resets. Oh, we did find, sorry, I was fixing a couple things in the audio, but we do find Ultra I was gonna say the reset coming in is a really good spot for Radiant to be in. And to be fair, Ultra still has Shock Palette here, so we can actually make something happen here. In terms of wasting quite a bit of the artist's time, as we don't have any generators to protect over here, so Ultra is going to go ahead and take the chase, winning the vault, but we are zoned and looks like we realize this, so we're just going to go over to the edge of the map and try to buy as much time for our team as possible. Doesn't seem too interested in picking up just yet, as we do know we could potentially tie this, I suppose, since we have the win for Mercy is out of the question, as they have gotten down to the 4K, or at least down to one generator. But like I said, we do still have the potential to tie this if we play this correctly. Which means that we will probably see, if we do end up tying it, we will see probably a repeat of the set, or maybe we could get a little cheeky 1v1 to tie up the score, or to fix the tie of the score, but that'll be up to the players, as they both have to agree to the 1v1 or a replay of the match. So with that, we are going to see the down onto Frisk. This is going to potentially be another Painter stack applied. It seems to me that the Forsezi choice was kind of... I could see why we would want to choose that over Ruin. I can see that for the team play that comes into keeping the tunnel out alive, but it does not seem to have gotten them as much value as they would have hoped for. Looks like we are going to get the unhook as we find Ultra getting a little bit stuck there, so Ultra able to play around distance a little bit better than he would have been had they not got stuck there, but that's neither here nor there, as 90 is about 70% done on the last generator. If we pop all here, we secure the win, and we secure our place in the semifinals as Team Radiant. It's quite a lot of pressure on the map, and I don't know. It's going to take some really aggressive plays to make this 4K1 stick. I would have to say. Since we did find Ultra, we're going to go ahead and commit to our injured survivor. All the while, our healthy survivor, we're just not interested in picking at this point, and I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it, as we do want to secure this tie. But with that read, it does look like Team Radiant is going to be our winners here today. So playing for the best outcome that we possibly can. It looks like 90 is going to take the chase over to the 8th side of the map as our final chase of the match. We can do a little bit of a celebratory loop session here, I suppose. Doing our best to not get, or we dodge the birds, so we have a little bit more time on our hands. But I think this will, oh, unfortunately that was a whiff. Is 90, like I said, does their celebratory loop session here as the last survivor standing. And with that, we are going to see the down onto 90, and congratulations to Team Radiant for taking this matchup. I mentioned it a couple times before, but this team is going to be going on to face Elysium in our semifinals, and I'm not exactly sure. I think that takes place next week, but I could definitely be wrong. As this is my first full tournament of casting with EC, so I could be wrong on that, but I think we're probably looking to get it done relatively quickly. We do have another matchup tomorrow. It's going to be Jinx versus... I can't remember exactly. Let me look. Tamashii versus Jinx will be tomorrow. Same time, 1 p.m. CST. And the winners of that are going to go to face Praxis. So we've got some pretty big games coming up. Hope you all have enjoyed the matchup here today. Once again, I'm Hallieberg. We're just kind of looking for our slug to kind of finish this game off. Not going too far. They can be found. Well, if they had just kind of looked around the hook, they might have been able to find the slug before they go ahead and bleed out. And with this, Mori, that is going to conclude our matches for the night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful night and a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.